have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Well, hello. How's everyone doing? Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About It. I am so happy to be back for season 4. This is my third year on here with the Crew podcast. I don't even know what's going on with my camera. But anyway, we just gonna roll with it. I would love for you guys to see. I would love to see you and you see me. Well, let me get my nervousness out. Okay, I'm ready. I am Shanette Johnson. I am the host of Let's Talk About It. Over here, we talk about injustice, things that's happening inside of the prisons, wrongful convictions over sentencing. This is a safe spot for us to talk about anything over here. So, right now, I have a guest that's coming on at 7:20. I totally forgot about Mr. Legate. But being that it's Black History Month, I just wanted to remind you of the um the statistics of the Black men that are currently in prison on wrongful conviction. There are about 720,000 Black men are incarcerated in the United States. Roughly 3% of the Black male population are innocent. Are innocent. Hmm. Let's chew on that. Did you not hear the number that I said? The Black men that are currently incarcerated. 720,000. And of that, 3% of them are wrongfully incarcerated. The Black males are the ones that serve the longest time out of all the ethnic groups. They're also they're also, I believe they said, convicted at a high rate because of identity, and also being where the witness is coerced in saying that they committed this crime. I don't know. As many times as I done came live, I still get nervous, and I'm still fighting over this nervousness. But anyway, back to this. The reason why I got into this, I tell my story all the time, is because my husband is currently incarcerated on a wrongful conviction over in Denver. Hearing his story and other men's from around the country are similar, and none of them have ever met each other, but they all say the same thing. when I talk to them. It's all about convictions. They don't care who they pick up, long as they get a conviction. We see it time and time again. They have no DNA evidence. They don't have anything tying these men to these crimes, but yet and still, they are the number one convicted. Why? 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 Why is this still going on? It's not going to stop. It's going to continuously go. Wrongful convictions are not rare. They are real. And some of the most well-known cases reveal just that deeply how flawed the system can be. We remember you guys remember the Central Park man, the five teenagers that was wrongfully convicted. Look at their stories. They had no DNA evidence, but yet and still, they still convicted them men. They still convicted them. But their case was overturned. They was exonerated some years later. Let's look at Stephen Avery. He spent 18 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit before being exonerated. And guess what? Stephen Avery is back in prison on what? Another wrongful conviction. How can that be? How can that be? When I read things like that, it just like it's something in me that just blows my mind. It blows my mind to see the injustice that our men and women are facing when they go into the courtroom. They go in there with public defenders because some of them cannot afford to an attorney, and the public defenders are overworked and they have so many cases on their desks. They they don't have jurors of their peers. Some of us that well, I'm gonna just use me as an example. I got a jury summons to serve on a jury. And you know how you go to court and they picking a jury and stuff, and the judge asks you, can you serve, or whatever it may be. And then I seen the guy that was on trial, and it was like he was like we connected or something when he seen me. But when I raised my hand and told them that I couldn't serve because I was the only provider for my household, and the judge just dismissed me, it was just like all hope. Like he lost all hope. And looking back on it, yeah, I was the only provider for my household. But now I don't know the outcome of what happened to that young man or anything. And it kind of, it's on my heart like, whatever happened to him? Did his case go right? That's what I be thinking. Ever since I started speaking out on this situation. But we do have some good news coming out of Denver. Mr. Kemp. I don't know if you guys remember Mr. Kemp. He was the one, he was sentenced to life in prison plus I believe an extra 130 some years, I believe. He's going back into court because the forensic scientist that was on his case mishandled the evidence in a couple of cases over there in Denver. I think it was like over 100 cases she mishandled, or she did something to the evidence. So they throwing out all the evidence, and the men's that in the women cases that she worked on are being brought back up to court, and they being resentenced. It was one guy, he actually did do his crime, and he was serving 3 life sentences, and they brought him back up to court, and they took away the life sentence, and I believe he was sentenced to 40 years. So he has a date to come home. And as you may know, he's not he doesn't have any melanin in his skin. So he got a date to come home. Whereas it's another one in there that has melanin in his system. He doesn't have a date to come home. And he didn't commit his crime. And, and it's just like always to me, why? Why does it take so long for them to come home? Or why do they have to prove their innocence for something they didn't do? Even when they prove it, ain't nobody listening. Ain't nobody listening to these men. Some of their family members done turned their backs on them because they believe what the court said. Oh well, the jury found you guilty, so you must be guilty. They have lost children. They have lost parents, siblings. In Mr. Kemp's case, Mr. Kemp's all his siblings has passed, and he's the only one left from his sibling. The only one left. And I know that weighs on them. When are we going to finally use our voice and stand up and say enough is enough? We're doing everything else. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Please don't get me wrong. But I'm going to have to say it. I reached out on behalf of some of these men. I have reached out to different organizations, and they send back, they tell me, oh, we can't help them, or go to this one. But yet and still, you want me to donate to other causes, but you guys are not willing to speak out against the men and the women that are currently serving sentences, life sentences. Some of them are on death row for crimes that they didn't commit.
Hello, this is a free call from
James Legate.
Give me
An
one.
inmate F.
Let me get him.
This call is being recorded and is subject to monitoring. To accept this free call, press. Well, thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
I'll probably get about a minute or so early.
That's okay, but we're live right now, and I was just sitting up here. I really, truly thank you for calling in. But I was just sitting up here, just talking about how certain organization has been sending me out donation slips to support the causes of the things that's currently happening, but don't nobody want to speak up against the injustice about the men and the women that are currently incarcerated on wrongful convictions.
Wow. I mean, it's understandable. A lot of people don't realize, the hardship that people go through when they're facing a wrongful conviction. Like for instance, me, I went through so much stuff already that the worst of all was losing my daughter, not even there to be with her, to help her, or not even to bury her. This is a parent's worst nightmare, as you know. And for me, being incarcerated, for something I didn't do, which is why I always try to urge people to look at the documentary, look at the evidence for themselves, and let them pose their own opinion on what's going on. And maybe, they can finally make up their mind right there and then, versus somebody just saying, "Oh yes, I'm innocent of this." It's understandable. And I've gone through that so many times. Or it's just like with the Innocence Project. They see the evidence, but they think there is nothing newly discovered. I say, "What are you talking about?" The newly discovered evidence was when they actually found the guy alive, when they made announcements to the court and the jurors that he was killed in Mexico. But now they found him alive, they can't even bring a case against him. How does that work? And those are the issues that worry me, that bother me the most, because I cannot get an affirmative answer. And I've studied law for years, and I'm not an expert in this, and I've been trying to find stuff that might be able to assist me to understand it. But it all comes to the same thing. It was a fabricated case. And I'm sure a lot of people have the same type of case, maybe not like mine, but they have similar issues that dealt with either the prosecutor's misconduct in some form or fashion, which also dealt with their detectives doing the investigation.
Right.
Like in mine, they traced the gun to 5 different people. Well, actually, it was traced to the original owner, to the executive. After he died, it went to the executive. She admitted giving it to another guy. He admitted giving it to another guy. Well, this guy admitted giving it to the guy that actually said that he gave it to me with no corroborating evidence. But the detective, once he found this out, that it was traced to that guy, the one that fabricated this whole story, he comes up with his own conclusion that by saying, "Well, it's crazy how this guy never told me that he gave the gun to Legate." Well, where did this come from? His whole investigative report never mentions anything about, not even the person telling him, "Hey, well, yeah, the gun was traced to me, and I gave it to Legate." That was nowhere in the records, nowhere. So this is where the fabrication of the gun, of this witness giving me the gun, came to, because further on in his investigative report, he clearly shows that he contacted the district attorneys and explained the situation about Hernandez. I'm just going to name him, Hernandez, not being cooperative to the case, and about the situation about the gun being traced through him. Again, it's just like giving the prosecutors like a heads up. Hey, look, you don't want to be cooperative? We'll subpoena him and we'll just make him testify. He had a motive. The gun's traced to him. The record shows that he was on probation. Plus, he also had a pending drug charge, but he was indicted. So he's looking at drug charges, a revocation of his probation, plus part of the murder, which I'm sure they told him that. And it's hard for somebody like me to prove all these facts. The only thing I can do, and hopefully that I can catch somebody's ear or their attention, is by explaining the situations as it stands and showing the proof through the records. This is not just something that I'm just, as they say, conclusionary allegations without supported facts or evidence. I have the facts, I have the evidence, but as a lay person with no license, no training at all, it's harder for me to set this boundary in court for them to actually take proper notice of it. So yeah, I can understand how people may feel like some people just crying wolf,
Right.
if I may say.
Well, you
Anyway,
know what?
so
We had just jumped into this conversation. I want to reintroduce reintroduce you. So, Mr. Legate been with us for a long time. He's our brother. So, Mr. Legate, go ahead and introduce yourself for me.
okay, thank you, Shanette, for having me again. I love coming on your show. My name is David Legate. In 1999, I was convicted for the murder of a person that the news media, dubbed the Bingo King. Not because of his profitable bingo partners or whatever, but he knew how to manipulate the game. He had lawyers, judges, senators, congressmen, everybody he had dealings with. Plus, they also came out that he had dealings with underworld figures that, dealing in a limousine business and stuff. But that's who I am. My name is James Legate. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Well, this is our first live shows this year, and I've been with Angela and them for the last 3 years. And at first I didn't think I was gonna actually come back, because listening to all the men talk about the wrongful conviction, and then what's going on with the young men that's coming out of Texas. Carmelo, and I believe his name is Christopher. It weighed on my heart, because I don't see enough people out there fighting against this injustice. It is. I just don't think that I'm trying to say it where I don't step on nobody's toes, but this needs to be in the forefront. We talk about everything else, but they won't talk about this.
All right.
They won't talk about it. And I don't understand it. And it hurts, because like I was telling them that the percentage of the men that are in prison wrongfully, and then you have them sitting on death row. Then we have you in there. We have I believe it's 5 in Denver that I talked to that's wrongfully convicted in prison. Then we have some in California that I talked to. Then we have, Texas. We have a lot. We have a lot.
Yeah. There's a lot in Texas. And like I said, I can understand how people might feel about cases like this. And it's crazy, because I heard of a lot of podcasts where the host, he wants to do, like getting people involved. Let's investigate this case. Let's do this. Let's do that. To really get down to the nitty gritty of the case. Which I think is a great tool for people if you're really into mysteries or really understand or want to really dissect the case. There's so many questions you can ask. That's why I say, if you go look at my documentary and then you ask yourself, whatever it is that catches your attention. See, one thing there's a presence many. I have a documentary and it shows that my case was fabricated. It's called conviction. The Bingo King murder can be found on YouTube. And if somebody really cares about justice, maybe because maybe it doesn't glitch or doesn't catch on yet because it hasn't happened to you. It hasn't happened to one of your family members, a friend of the family, or anybody like this that is maybe close to the family. So, you don't have no idea what's going on. I mean, how many times do people look at Dateline News and look at these gruesome murders or something that happens, but they bring these guys to trial and then they find out that he's actually innocent? You see, this is almost that same type of scenario with a documentary part of Dateline 2020, 60 Minutes, or anybody interviewing and giving you a more in-depth investigation. My whole thing is, I just wish somebody could be a voice. But you're the voice. You're the voice for many of us. And I know it's not so much about us, or me particularly, asking anything from anybody. All I want is a voice. A voice carries a long way. Like, hey, like I'm trying right now, I'm trying to hook up with his name is Mark Howard. He's a professor from Georgetown University, and he has created him and a childhood friend of his who spent 18 years in prison for a murder he didn't commit. He killed his parents, and it took him 18 years to prove that he did it.
But
when he got out, he became an attorney.
It shouldn't take that long for an innocent man or an innocent woman to prove their innocence. It shouldn't take 18 years. It should. I was reading. It was one man. 70 years. I hope they was wrong about that. 70 years. To
It's a long time.
Yeah, that's a long time. 34 years, 24 years. 1 year is a long time.
It is.
And when you said dissect the case, we can dissect your case. And no matter where you cut it or slice it, you're an innocent man. Number one, no gunshot residue, no DNA.
Right. Nothing. No fingerprints on the gun, the shells. I mean, the weapon, the shells. Nothing. Nothing. No eyewitness saying, "Hey, I saw him do this." Or all they had was the person.
The tape was recorded over.
Yep.
Tape was recorded over.
They had an interest. And like I said, I'm well over 27 years right now in prison for this murder. And like I said, the worst part of it was losing my daughter. That today, it's been 20 years already. And there isn't a day that goes by that it still don't hurt me, especially on Christmas, her birthday, any type of holidays, Father's Day. Like she used to come and, give me these surprising gifts and hugs and, something I'm never going to get again, and all because the system is corrupt. People may not want to believe it. They might think, "Oh no, we have a fine system." Well, if that's true, then many people would have been exonerated. Exactly. A lot of people now, thank God for DNA. I'm just one of the persons that don't have that luxury to use any form of DNA because there was nothing.
But it shouldn't, I can't, I can be wrong or whatever, but I feel when you say that you're fighting for innocence, you fighting for their innocence. Some cases it's not going to have DNA. So in that case, when you don't have DNA, what do they want you guys to do when there's no DNA? When they only want to help people that has DNA.
Right. Well, the thing is now they expect, especially the courts, they expect you to have some kind of evidence that can prove beyond the preponderance of the evidence that you are actually innocent. And it's like I said in my case, right? They said I was a hired hitman, but the guy who did the hiring, they said that he was killed in Mexico. 20 years later, they find him alive. So now they changed their tune and said, well, we really ain't got no independent cooperation to bring a case against him. Well, where does that leave me? You used him to convict me of this murder. You have this guy testifying that he overheard this man telling me this. Well, they know that all this is fabricated. This is why they don't have no other evidence. Oh, and they did know. They had cooperating evidence. 2 other guys that were implemented that were present when this guy said he overheard this person telling me, hey, I need you to go take care of this guy. But the state never used them. They never used them. Why? Because nothing transpired, and probably if they even talked to like one of them, I found out that one of them was subpoenaed, but they still never used him because he probably even told them, I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
So what they did anyway, they said, okay, well, we only got to use you, but we're going to still use this guy, because now we know that this guy is supposed to be killed in Mexico. There's nothing to refute this. He wasn't able to testify. He wasn't there to be present at anything. Nothing. But now that he's alive, now I don't have no evidence to bring a case against him. But here I am, sitting in prison for the past 27 years for the murder that he said that he had to do.
But then you have that guy that committed perjury. The one that said he was his brother and actually got on the stand as himself.
Exactly.
So how can that be?
Well, it's like in the documentary, even though I haven't seen it, but you and other people have told me that even the prosecutor and my own attorney, my trial attorney, admitted that the jurors should have known about his misrepresentation of his identity.
Yeah.
They allowed him to lie before the grand jurors because even there, you have to be honest. You have to be truthful to every question they ask, even your identity. So if you have to lie about your identity, that should make a person wonder why. Even when he gave a testimony to the detectives, they said, okay, well, look, I'm going to read back your testimony. Okay, we want you to sign it here. And he signs it. He says, are you willing to take a polygraph test on this just to verify on the questions that you answered? And he didn't want to do it. What person that is telling the truth would not want to take a lie detector test? I did. My attorney told me, hey, they want to know if you want to take a lie detector test. I said, yeah. I said, I'll take it today, tomorrow, anytime they want it. But if I pass it, they have to agree to let me go, to drop the case, because I didn't do nothing. But they didn't want to give me the test.
I'm just wondering what Bible they putting their hands on, standing up there saying they swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help them God. I want to know what Bible it is they putting their hand on.
Well,
Each one of them that's getting up there. Because
they have to come before God. So I'm just, and I was 37 when they locked me up. I was 38 when I was convicted, and right now I'm going to be 65 years old. So all this time that I spent in prison for a murder I didn't even have nothing to do with, and I can understand if people don't want to believe it. That's fine. I mean, I don't blame nobody for nothing. But all I ever asked, like I said, and I mentioned earlier, look at the documentary, look at the evidence, read the story, burden of proof that was written or was published in the Texas Observer magazine. It's just how to burden the proof. Go see the evidence that we discovered way back then that they withheld. But because the judge believed the prosecutor over the evidence,
right?
Well, she denied any type of relief. In other words, she talked to the witness. The witness said she never said he didn't do it, and all this without giving me an evidentiary hearing. I mean, what's chances do I got? Everything was stacked against me, you know. So, well, like I said, I know that things going to change. I know that they will prevail because if it wasn't for God's love and everything that He's been doing for me, He wouldn't have had anybody become interested in doing a documentary in my case. He wouldn't be interested or putting somebody in my life to do the story for the Texas Observer magazine. He wouldn't have you in my life to let me be a voice or to be my voice and allowing me to come out on the podcast so I can share my story. You know,
I don't mean to cut you off. I don't know if I told you that Angela did run a story in the magazine this month. Run your story.
Oh yeah, you told me she was going to do that. Yes.
Yeah. So I did see. It was online. Everybody could have went online and got a free copy. I believe at last Friday was the last time they could have downloaded it. But yes.
Okay.
So we still are pushing, speaking out for you, and we're gonna continuously speak out for you. Because we see the injustice. But this is what I when you said something about the Sun, was it the Sun magazine?
The Texas Observer magazine?
Isn't that the one your ex-wife written something in?
Yeah, that's the one. They interviewed her of everything that we have been doing, trying to prove my innocence. Yes, unfortunately, because due to my granddaughter, we decided to be best if because she wanted to adopt her, that they wouldn't allow her to adopt her if we were married. So, because I'm convicted, so we agreed to just divorce. We're friends and everything, but we just figured it'd be best.
And if you guys can find that article, what's the name of the because everything about pertaining to Mr. Legate is public records. All you had to do is just Google his name or the Bingo King, and every article from Texas that's pertaining to that will come up. And you will see, as you would read that people were saying, James Legate, a higher hitman. Nah, no. And and even in one article, a man was laughing. He said, what hitman would drive his car to the scene, leave his car, leave all his belonging there? He's not a hitman.
That's right. I had my driver's license, everything. I worked for Advantage Auto Finance. I had the dealer tags. I had business cards. Everything was in my portfolio. When everything happened so fast. I tripped out and I took off. I ran. I was surprised that I didn't get hit. Which sometimes I do wish it would have been me. I would have been able just to, at least, they would be investigating my murder. I wouldn't have been the perpetrator. I would be the victim. But unfortunately, God had other plans, I guess. Because I still don't understand it.
I don't even understand it, because I don't, listening and seeing a documentary and reading the articles and everything, and everything adds up that you are innocent, and your story never changed. It never changed. Even looking at the documentary, if you guys look at the documentary and look at the tapes and stuff from when Mr. Legate been on the show, when he was with Talk to Angela, his story never changed. Never changed. And then also, I believe it was the episode 6, I believe, when they go in and they look at the evidence, They have the shirt, no blood, just no taco stain. They show all of that. But guess what?
Right.
There's no gun.
Nothing. No gunshot
There's
residue.
no
Nothing
gun.
on my shirt. I have a long sleeve shirt. Nothing.
They
and I was tested not even 25 to 30 minutes after the shooting.
They can't even produce the gun. They don't know where that gun. They don't.
Right.
The gun is supposed to be in evidence. They can't even produce the gun.
Right. That's something I just learned through. Well, Issa Romero for the documentary, the producer, she discovered that, and that surprised me also. You know, I'd like to. If anybody and everybody or anybody out there, you know, have curious minds, and you do decide to look at the documentary or read the article, and you want to know more, why don't you get a hold of Shanette, the show, and request that we have a question and answer. Session. You know, I don't have nothing to hide. Just everything I want to put out there, and the more voices I can probably get, they can probably call the district attorney. Hey, why do you got this guy in prison if y'all can't even convict the guy or y'all got no evidence to convict the solicitor? If you ain't got nothing against the solicitor to corroborate this, how do you have anything to corroborate that he even did this? You see, those are the things that I'm trying to pose, and it's we get frustrated. But you know, I keep my faith strong. I try to keep my faith with God as much as I can, and I thank Him every day for giving me some more strength. Because sometimes I really feel like giving up, but then you know I can't. You know, I always feel my daughter like just pushing me, like, "Don't give up, Dad. Just keep going. You know, it's gonna come out. It's gonna come out."
Yeah, and we're not gonna allow you to give up. And Angela and them, they've been for the last 6 years. I want to say congratulations to Angela and them. They've been on the wall for 6 years as of February 1st. 6 years they've been getting up at 5 a.m. praying, calling out our names. So I want to say, Angela Nim, thank you for the prayers that you're sending up on behalf of the men and the women that are incarcerated. I want to say thank you on behalf of them. And also thank you on behalf of my family for the prayers that you guys are praying for us. Mr. Legate, we got a few minutes. I want you to go ahead and give your closing remarks and let the people know what you would like for them to do for you.
So it's like I said, I'm just hoping to generate voices, you know, as advocates. I'm not looking for anything else. I'm looking to prove my innocence. You know, they say that they have evidence, even if they didn't have the guy who lied about his identity or anything like that, that they can use against me. Okay, well, if that's the case, why don't you give me a new trial? Give me a new trial with what you got, and let's take away all this fabricated stuff that you use, because you still got to prove the hitman theory. And this is all I'm asking. You know, and the voices can do a lot. You can call the district attorney, you can call your congressman, you can call his representatives, you can call anybody and ask about it. But anyway, that's all I'm asking. If y'all ever want to know anything about the case or anything like this, I'm more than willing to answer any questions if you can get with Shanette. And thank you, Shanette. Love you. Angela, love you. Cornel, thank you so much. Y'all have been the greatest, and my brothers.
1 minute left.
And I thank you all for everything from the bottom of my heart. And thank you, audience, for for allowing me to speak this day also and hearing me. May God bless all of you.
God bless you, so too. Much, give me a call tomorrow at 1 o'clock your time.
Okay. We'll see you then.
Okay.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Have a blessed night, Mr. Legate.
You do the same, Shanette. We'll see you later.
Okay.
Good night.
Well, that was Mr. James Legate.
The caller has
oh. Did I end? I don't know if I'm still going or not because I see. Oh, thank you, Angela. That was Mr. James Legate with us. If you guys can, please go see the documentary. Please go see it. Dissect it yourself. Call me if you want to just talk about it. And if you see something that we probably have missed and that we can bring up, please, I just ask you guys, please go look at the documentary. Google his name, James Legate, and pull up all the articles and read them, please. And you will see what people are saying, what they said about him. I truly believe that Mr. Legate, I know that Mr. Legate is an innocent man. Is an innocent man. And all he want is someone to be a voice to speak up for him because they have they are limited what they can do from behind that wall. So we have to give them a voice. Like we doing other things, let's be a voice for them. Like us today I googled being black, black history, and we have a lot of inventors. So today, on this day, Alfred Curley, he patented the ice cream scooper. So if it wasn't for him, Alfred Curley, we wouldn't have the scooper, the ice cream scooper. And he patented on February the 2nd, 1897. He was 30 years old when they granted him the patent. So just a little history, so we can know, keep up on our history. And I believe it's important to teach our children about our history. On that note, I want to leave you guys with, I got my final thing, if I can find it. I got so much going on over here. Hopefully my teacher don't call me asking me for my paper. Oh, you know what? I can't find. Oh, wait a minute. Let me see. Is it? No, you know what? I'm gonna have to do better with putting my notes and stuff together. But on this note, thank you guys for joining me for my first day back. And I'm telling you, the next time I'm not gonna be nervous. I shouldn't be nervous, but it's something about that countdown. And what I want to talk about the next time when we together is, when did self-defense become a crime? We're gonna talk about that. When did self-defense become a crime? Good night.